Something very odd has happened to America where if you question so-called authority, well, then somehow, some way, you are the problem. It's Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. I'm Stuart Allister. From the Daily Mail, The Wire creator David Simon calls Marjorie Taylor Greene a submoronic pratfall of a human being for questioning if the Baltimore bridge collapse was intentional and demanding an investigation. Now, for those of you who don't know who David Simon is, he created a special on HBO called The Wire. And coincidentally, you know what The Wire was about? It was about the corruption in Baltimore. The mayor, police, and all of the gang activity. It was about all of the corruption. And that guy is calling Marjorie Taylor Greene a moron because she's asking for an investigation. Now, look, you got to know that he's one of these Hollywood brats. And anything Marjorie Taylor Greene says or does must be wrong. I don't know how we got here. I really don't. Where you are no longer allowed to think for yourself. Someone else must do your thinking for you. Dear Lord. All right, before we get into it, why don't you wreck that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and press that notification bell so you never miss an episode. So just keep this in mind, okay? All she asked for was an investigation. By the way, for those of you think I'm making it, there he goes again, making it up. This is what she said. There should be a serious investigation into the horrifying tragedy of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Maryland. Is this an intentional attack or an accident? Praying for the victims, survivors, and family. That was it. That was it. That's all she said. The vitriol that came after was almost like insane. Hold on a second. So this was the video she posted. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, this is where the cargo ship, Dolly, actually, runs into the bridge. And this is all she's saying. Power loss, number one. Recovery, power recovered. Thick smoke starts to come out of the stack. Power loss number two. Recovery. But too late. And goes directly in. Look at all that space there. No, I'm serious. When you look at the bridge itself and look at all of the space in between the columns, it's remarkable that instead of going through all of that space, you hit the one place. Now that's what they are absolutely going berserk over. I mean, I don't know what happened to Democrats and those on the left, but they hate searching for the truth. They just don't like it. I think a lot of that came from the election of Donald Trump, because all of a sudden the CIA were the good guys. All of a sudden the FBI, the NSA, the surveillance state was all of a sudden they were good. They were doing God's work. Why? Well, they were going after the orange man. And as long as you're going after the orange man, well, everything is fine. And so they started to side with, I don't know, the intelligence community. And so if the intelligence community tells you, listen, the CIA had nothing to do with the murder of JFK, and how dare you? Well, then they would say, well, that's right then. You got to believe them because, after all, it's the CIA. If the FBI says, we don't have any informants in the January 6th rally, all right, well, how dare you? How dare you besmirch our, well, then you have to just believe it. And by the way, when it came to, the poke, holy cow, you were not allowed to question it. In fact, if you question it, you were part of the problem. Don't tell me you're one of these researchers. Don't tell me that you're one of the people who reads. Imagine that. Imagine getting some, you get a bad report from a doctor. He says that you should get a procedure. And then you say, okay, well, I guess I'll have to get a second opinion. Well, you're not allowed to get a second opinion. Those are not allowed anymore. The saint doctor, who told you what you're going to do, and you have to go do it. Now, it doesn't really matter that he doesn't know your blood work. He doesn't know your body. He has no idea whether you are A, B negative or whatever, but that doesn't matter because the Saint Dr. F knows what's best for you. And if you question him, how dare you? This is like insane. And so all she said was, should be a serious investigation. Well, the left didn't like that. Get this. Now, I don't know that this is Liam Neeson, but he said, Ida, Marge, really? Because she wants an investigation? Hold on. Jared Ryan Sears, you are disgusting, Miss Green. The ship lost control and quickly sent out a warning to the Maryland officials that it might end up colliding with the bridge. Why do you have to turn everything into a conspiracy, especially when the information is already available? They've already told you what happened. Why are you asking for an investigation? Do you think the authorities would lie? Understand that this Simon guy is the very same guy who did an HBO special on the corruption in Baltimore. What happened? Who are these people? Okay, the U.S. Air Force vet, he says, this is why no one believes you. Just like the explosion at the Niagara Falls entrance. You're already calling it an attack. You are what's wrong with the Republican Party. She is? She's what's wrong with the Republican Party, not Mitch McConnell, who's had multiple strokes and God knows what else. Really? She's the problem. Not, Kevin McCarthy. Not all of those rhinos, again, giving our money to foreign powers. No. The problem is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Joe, and I don't know who she is. How about we find out who planted the pipe bombs ahead of the January 6th, too? Yeah. Why don't we find out who planted those pipe bombs? See, this is what they think. Well, did they find any? The FBI did an investigation and they didn't find anyone. They didn't find anything. So how dare you? How dare you? You're one of these whacked out conspiracy theorist nuts. It's like, so Christopher Wray tells you something and you just believe it. These are the same people who, if Hillary Clinton says Donald Trump is a Russian agent, well, doggone it, Donald Trump is a Russian agent. This is how this works. James Comey sent in FISA warrants on Donald Trump multiple times with no evidence. Lied to the FISA court, and now we're supposed to just believe him. In her interview, Hillary Clinton tells Rachel Maddow, truth matters. And all of these lunatics go, yeah, it really does. Isn't she wonderful? Chidi, look at this. Imagine bringing your crazy conspiracy theory into this tragedy. Disgusting, but sadly typical. These are people who, did you notice? Because I did. There was not one Democrat who wanted to look into the origins of, the virus. No Democrat seemed interested. They were disinterested. They didn't care where it came from. And I understand why. I mean, it was a boon for them. Hey, man, it got them into office. Well, why do they care? It did. I'm amazed at this. This is, look at this. Of course, you're trying to spread the conspiracy theory seed. Asking for an investigation. Asking, was it an accident or was it an attack? How is that a conspiracy? I'm asking for an investigation. I didn't tell you that I knew. I didn't tell you that, no, it was the Russians. I didn't say that. She never said that. All she said was, I think we should do a serious investigation. These people are just, look at this. Are you going to impeach the bridge? I'm of the mind, because I was always interested in how during World War II, you were not allowed to question or speak an untoward word about, the chancellor. And if you said anything that was derogatory, how dare you? How dare you? Like they go nuts. That's the same thing that's happening now with these people on the left. Like, you can't question any authority. And if you do, maybe we need to have a conversation with you. Maybe you need to be re-educated. That's what's happening right now to Dr. Jordan Peterson. He's being re-educated. Why? Well, he said some naughty words, and we don't do that. Look at this. Margie Taylor Greene with the fact check. Very telling how the right-wing lunatics jumped right into terrorist attack. With untold immigrants flooding our border, you have no idea of where they're coming from or how many are here. Anyone who says, well, this could be an attack, could be a cyber attack, is like, somehow you're the moron? What happened? No, I mean, this just doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't call for an investigation into something. Where'd that come from? And I guess it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, and so she's kind of like a firebrand, right? And people hate her because, well, she's one of those mega Republicans, and so therefore. But don't you think that the families of the victims deserve an investigation? Or you just take the word of some person in authority and that's it, it's over, and we need to start, rebuilding. What if it turns out that it was done on purpose, but it wasn't a terrorist attack? What if it turns out that it was Baltimore? What if it turns out that higher ups within the Baltimore political scheme of things needed a project? What if they needed a project that would, sustain their own economy? What better way to do it than to, we have to rebuild this iconic bridge? What if it's that? Don't you think the victims need to know that? They deserve to know that? Why would you want to hide that? I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I'm saying, what if the investigation comes to that conclusion? You don't want to know what happened? What's wrong with you? I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't get it. Like, I'm watching this video, and look at the space that the boat could go through. And it literally steers toward the column. And I am not supposed to ask any questions because they already told you why it happened. And I cannot believe you're still on this. Still, dear Lord, that was yesterday. I don't know, man. This is not a good look. And it looks very bad on us. I mean, this is a bad color on us. This is something we should never wear as Americans. Let's just believe that James Comey is telling the truth. Andrew McCabe, second in command, lied 3 times to the FBI. Do you know what the report said? He was less than truthful. Oh, yeah. You see, he was less than truthful. He wasn't completely forthright. And that's why we're not going to, reprimand him. After all, it was a lapse in judgment. Kind of like Fannie Willis, just a lapse in judgment. Nothing to see here. Go home, everyone. I don't know how we got here. I really don't. It's one of those oddest things ever, man. All right, that's it for now. Hey, you like this video, smash that like button and subscribe. And if you're following me on Rumble, please press that follow button. And until the next time, God bless.